Well, hello, and we're in Deuteronomy chapter 10, and we're going to do this in two parts. So today we'll do verses 1 to 11. So let's read it, reading from the NIV. At that time the Lord said to me, "Chisel out 2 stone tablets like the first ones, and come up to me on the mountain. Also make a wooden ark. I will write on the tablets the words that were on the first tablets, which you broke. Then you are to put them in the ark." So I made the ark out of acacia wood and chiselled out 2 stone tablets like the first ones, and I went up the mountain with the 2 tablets in my hands. The Lord wrote on these tablets what he had written before, the 10 commandments he had proclaimed to you on the mountain out of the fire on the day of the assembly. And the Lord gave them to me. Then I came back down the mountain and put the tablets in the ark. I had made, as the Lord commanded me, and they are there now. The Israelites travelled from the wells of Ben Yakin to Moserah, where Aaron died and was buried, and Eleazar his son succeeded him as priest. From there they travelled to Gudgodah and on to Jotbathar. Apologies for any mispronunciations there. A land with streams of water. At that time the Lord set apart the tribe of Levi to carry the ark of the covenant of the Lord, to stand before the Lord, to minister and to pronounce blessings in his name, as they still do today. That is why the Levites have no share or inheritance among their fellow Israelites. The Lord is their inheritance, as the Lord your God told them. Now I had stayed on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights, as I did the first time, and the Lord listened to me at that time also. It was not his will to destroy you. "Go," the Lord said to me, "and lead the people on their way, so that they may enter and possess the land I swore to their ancestors to give them." So what we've got here, in essence, really is the permanence of God's purpose and plans and ways. What had happened is that God had given Moses the 10 commandments, and when he came down, all the Israelites had then made this golden calf with Aaron's assistance and were worshipping the thing. Moses was so angry that he smashed the 2 original tablets, as it says there in verse 2, the words that were on the first tablets which you broke, you being Moses there. And Moses had pleaded with God not to destroy all the people, which God had agreed to do, not to do. So he's given the same. He had to chisel out these new tablets, and God has put on the same 10 commandments. So one of the key lessons coming out of this is that God's ways have not changed. Man may have rebelled. The Israelites here rebelled. But God's commandments remained exactly the same, and the commandments by which the people had to live if they wanted to receive the blessings of God remained exactly the same. Their rebellion in worshipping idols did not change that. Moses' bad temper did not change that. And the commandment, the stone tablets were now put in the ark. That's partly to protect them from Moses, but mostly to emphasise the permanence of God's commands. There are many parts of the church today which think God's ways have changed. God's commandment, mostly related to sexual immorality, but there can be other things as well. I think God's ways have changed. God's ways have not changed. God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And it doesn't matter how much men rebel, God's ways do not change. It might be like a bad-tempered, a child having a strop thinking it will change its parents' attitude, and which obviously sometimes they actually succeed in that. With God, we're not going to succeed. God's ways are God's ways forever. And then we've got the Levites leading the procession, essentially, and again the emphasis which appears again several times in this book that they receive no inheritance, because the Lord himself is their inheritance. And at the end it says, "Go and lead the people on the way so that they may enter and possess the land I swore to their ancestors." You might say, "Oh well, the people's rebellion doesn't change God's ways, God will just destroy the people." And we know he didn't do that. He said, "You're going to go in to possess the land." God is fully aware of their sinfulness. God's plans to bless them have not changed, just as his plans to bless humanity as a whole have not changed. He does not overlook our sin. He's fully aware of it. That's why Jesus had to die on the cross, because of our sin. But God's plans remain the same. Our rebelliousness does not change them. Our rebellious matters. We can see here where Israel's rebelliousness clearly mattered, had profound effects. But God's purposes are not destroyed, are not stopped by man's sin. So on that note, we'll leave it there. Amen.